Hey there, wood turners. Just a short video to talk about my hollowing tools. I've been using these tools for over 30 years and have been making them for other turners for over the last 20. They've been used by myself to make thousands of pieces, and a lot of my customers have made many thousands more. I use them to make my signature pieces. They're in over 35 museums around the world. And so they've got a proven record. I guarantee these for life. If you ever have an issue with something, you can send it back and I'll replace it. And when you buy them, if you try them and find that they don't work the way you wanted, then you return them and I'll give you your money back. Well, let me move this out of the way so I don't ding it. Now, the hollowing tools are made of 3/4 inch cold roll steel. Nice quality stuff with insertable high-speed steel cutters. They're easily removable with a set screw here, so you can sharpen them and replace them when they get short. They're very inexpensive, so that's easy to do. The straight tool is 20 inches long, so it's got plenty of length for any leverage that you'll need, no matter what kind of tool handles you're using. The number one hook tool is the main tool, and this, along with the straight tool, is what I do 85% of my turning with. And the way this works is that the tip is on the center line of the shaft of the tool. So as long as I have the tool rest behind the hook, there's no twist or torque on this tool. When this tip touches the wood, it simply cuts. There's no yanking or twisting, no drama. Works really well, very easy for somebody without experience to use. It's just a little scraper. That tip has a burr on the edge, just like a typical scraper. I'll show you one of the cutters. Maybe get a little better picture of it. It's ground back on the sides, has a fingernail shape, and the hook tool cutter is rounded on the back. That way, this tool has a small hole, and so this steel here can be as slim as possible. And what that does is allow this tool to reach inside a small opening. Let me show you with an actual piece here. And so that will reach just inside there very nicely and let you go right on down. Now, the trouble with some hook tools that you can get is this section of the hook tool is made where it's straight. And while it may look like a hook tool overall, if this part is straight, it won't allow you to get into that first little bit just under the lip because it's just a straight tool. So this one has a continuous curve all the way out to the end of that cutter. Another issue you might see with some other hook tools is this hook is bent, and it's bent way out here. And so it's not on a center line, which defeats the purpose of having a hook tool in the first place. And some others are bent where they have a big giant loop or hook here, which is useless. All you need is just enough bend in a hook tool to clear the lip. And anything that reaches out here makes it very difficult to get in and out of the opening. We have a second hook tool that's used in larger pieces. So if you have something like this, this will allow you to get over in the shoulder area of this piece, over into here. So that's what that's for. And most people, when they're starting out, won't need this tool. You'll know the day you need it because the number one hook tool won't quite fit for you. I also have a set of 1/2 inch tools, and they work exactly the same. They have the same kind of cutters, the 3/16 square. We have the equivalent of the number one hook tool, and then last year I started making, on request, a longer hook or a number two version, if you will, that will allow you to get farther over into the sides of pieces. Now it's useful for pieces up to, well, maybe this size, 5 or 6 inches. So these will easily do these and have enough, they have enough mass to not chatter, again, up to about 6 inches or so. After that, if you have some skill and you developed a light touch, you can probably do another inch or two. But we recommend them for 5, 6 inch pieces, generalizing. And then finally, I have a 3/8 set. And I had a lot of requests for these, and a few years ago I geared up to make them. And these are useful for making a little birdhouse. People like turning little birdhouses and Christmas ornaments that are 2 or 3 inches in diameter. I don't have a small vessel here with me, but but they're bent just like the 1/2 inch tools, but they just have a 3/8 shaft. So as you get into larger pieces with these, of course, at some point the 3/8 diameter shaft may start to chatter. So again, if you have a really light touch and you keep your cutter sharp, you can work a little farther out than the average turner, but it takes a little practice. I have people doing some quite large pieces with these small tools. Pretty amazing. I'm not sure I could do that myself. But, so for people that want to do small tools, we have those. Also, to sharpen these cutters, we have a little sharpening jig, so you can slip the cutters in there. Here's a straight tool cutter, and it holds either one of them. And so we'll get a picture at the grinder of this actually working, but it works like your very grind jig. If this is your grinding wheel, this pivots just like a bowl gouge jig. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. All right, to set up the sharpening jig, the first thing is to put the cutter in and extend it out, maybe 3/8 of an inch or so. This is not quite as critical as the extension of your bowl gouge in the very grind jig. I find eyeball is just fine, but it wouldn't hurt to make a little measurement if you wanted to. But I just eyeball it. And then rather than moving your very grind or your Wolverine jig for the very grind, just leave that set, put a good cutter in there, match the bevel up to the wheel, and find where it needs to pivot here, and I drill a little dimple in the arm. And that way you can always leave this set for the bowl gouge. So you put it there, we'll turn the grinder on. Come over to the right side of the wheel. It's just that simple. Nice repeatable results every time. Now if you have radius wheels like this, you're going to find that you'll run into, any kind of wheel, you're going to grind away bits of this jig at times. That doesn't hurt a thing, but particularly if you have these radius edge wheels, because you want to get over on the flat part of the wheel. There you go. This is a double-ended shear scraper. By double-ended, I mean that it has a 45-degree angle on each end, so you can use it in 2 different directions on the outside of a vessel. Has 30-degree bevel angle, and it's going to use the burr to cut. So we'll take a little side grain hollow vessel here, and this is used, if you imagine a tool rest underneath that blade. We're not going to use it flat like a scraper, but rather tilt it up about 45 degrees, and that's pull along. And then what I would do is reverse the blade and come this direction and meet in the middle. That does 2 things for me. It lets me fair this curve, take a few thousandths of an inch here and there, get that curve just as perfect as I can. And secondly, it makes this nice and smooth, so it takes a minimal amount of sanding. And I know nobody really likes to sand. The way to sharpen that is I have a nice little slipstone that I sell, a ceramic space age slipstone. I'm going to use my personal one here because it's already dirty. And what you do is you after you grind the bevel, which you'll have to do every 5 or 6 times you raise a burr, is to lay it flat on top, polish off that burr, and then stroke the stone up and along, and that raises a nice little burr there on top of the blade. What I've been doing the last year or two is I came across one of these Veritas burnishers. It has a little pivot pin and some carbide pins there that raise the burr, and you just pivot against that, put a little light pressure on it, and that raises a very nice little burr there. Slip it back in your handle. You're ready to go. I'd like to show you my handles here. I think these are some of the nicest handles you can get. They're made of steel tubing. They have a really nice weight. They're heavier than wood, but not as heavy as some of the other handles. But you can put some weight in them if you choose to. I'm not a fan of that, but it's perfectly okay. It'd be easy to do. They just have 2 set screws to hold your tools, and they come with various adapters. This has a 1/2 inch adapter in it. Without that 1/2 inch adapter, it will hold a 3/4 inch tool. And then I have other adapters, 5/8 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch, and I'll make custom adapters if you have a need for those. The handles look like foam rubber, but they're actually a near indestructible rubber. Really have a nice feel. And as I said, it's nearly indestructible. If you ever tear one of these, just like all my tools, I'll replace it for a lifetime. So you'll never have to buy another one of these. They will hold bowl gouges. Of course, I sell a number of different bowl gouges. They'll hold all my hollowing tools, and as well as other folks' tools. So let me know if you'd like to try one. This is let me start. This is the blue one is a 12 inch. I like this for detail gouges, and I do all of my turning with this tool because I don't need a lot of leverage since my tool rest is up close. We're turning the hollow turnings. If I was turning bowls, I'll use a handle like this red handle, which is 18 inches long. And then I have a 2-foot handle. And a lot of people like this for hollow turning and bigger bowl turning. But I sell the red and the black for hollow turning. And people like both of those. The blue handle is nice for the small 3/8 hollowing set. I wouldn't recommend it for the 1/2 inch or larger because you do need some leverage on your handle. And I have the arm brace handle, which is nice to, this is what my preference for hollowing on a short bed lathe or sliding headstock lathe like I have in my Robust. And this is made to be used, held right against your body here. The arm brace part here simply locates that on your arm. It's not something that you lever against. It's just to help you feel that it's in place. And it's lightly held like this against your body, and you stand directly in front of the piece to work. If you have a long bed lathe, this handle probably is not as comfortable for you because you'll find yourself leaning over, and that's not real good. But any of these work the same. And if I use this handle to hollow, I like to lay it underneath my arm just like I did the arm brace, rather than holding it out on the end like this. But you can use it any way you like. Again, a really nice feeling, solid handle. Let me know if I can help.